Good morning, YouTube. We're making bread this morning, getting ready for our trip to the farmer's market tomorrow. So, first thing we're going to be making just a regular white bread. We need 3 cups of water. It needs to be at 110 degrees. So we have to, I've got to see what the temperature is. I know this will be about 120 degrees. Should be around 120. About 121. This one, this is cold water, so it should bring it down to about 110. 110 degrees. Then I use safe yeast. I buy it in big containers, and it takes 3 tablespoons. I use one of these medicine cups. It's 2 tablespoons. It doesn't have to be exact. A little more won't hurt. And I just keep it in the freezer all the time. And you dissolve that in your water, but you go ahead and add your sugar, half a cup. This recipe is really easy because you just start adding everything. Once you get your water and your yeast in there, you just start adding everything else. 1/4 cup of oil, your choice. I use canola oil. Half a stick of unsalted butter, your choice. I usually use, if I don't have homemade, I use Great Value brand. And a couple teaspoons of salt. I normally don't measure it. I know about what it is just by measuring it in my hand. 4 cups of flour. This will make 3 loaves of bread. Now, you have to mix this and let it proof. Takes about an hour to let it rise. Then you have to add another 4 cups of flour to this mixture and let it rise again, double in size. And it takes a total of about 3 hours by the time you get it all baked. And for our farmer's market here, I usually only make 3 loaves of this, but I also make yeast rolls. I make 36 yeast rolls usually, but I also make banana nut bread, banana bread, zucchini bread, pumpkin bread, apple fritter bread, and cookies, chocolate chip, oatmeal raisin, peanut butter cookies. And then we also have veggies that go to the market also. Usually some squash and different types of squash. And tomatoes. You just cover it and let it set. Usually while that's doing that, I'll just I'll work on something else, make cookies or another kind of bread till it's done. I always try to pre-measure my flour out. And I keep my flour in a bucket so that it's really handy for me to get to. And I have several of these buckets. I buy flour bulk. I keep sugar bulk. I usually buy 100 to 150 pounds of flour a month. 50 to 75 pounds of sugar a month. Also do wheat bread, stone ground wheat, and I buy it. I don't have to buy quite as much monthly. I usually have about 25 to 50 pounds of it, and we go through quite a bit of that. I use it at the making breads and stuff, quite a bit of it a month. And so you would be amazed at how much you go through making all this stuff to sell at the market. But this is going to sit here and let it do its thing for the next probably 30 minutes, 45 minutes, so maybe an hour, depending on how warm it is in the house. And I think I'll probably do some, next project could be banana nut bread, I guess, or banana bread. I gotta see what I need next. Be right back with you. Actually, on the green side, you're having to buy them a week in advance just to get them to be even a little bit ripe. Takes about 2 teaspoons of vanilla. And again, I don't measure. I just kind of guess. Oh, and behind the camera is my daughter helping me. I don't have a tripod or anything, so she's helping me film. I usually do this in the stand mixer, just to kind of, it makes it a little easier and I don't have to mash the bananas up too much, but I don't know how this little mixer will do, so I'm going to mash them up a little bit as I put them in. Yeah, I can basically put the whole banana in the stand mixer and it'll crush it as it mixes it. Most people can't believe how much stuff that I bake through the week and how many eggs I use. I use about 5 or 6 dozen eggs a week just in baking alone. But when you're baking this much bread, we have farmers market 3 days a week here in our county, and I go to, most weeks I go to all 3 farmers markets. So I'm baking at least 5 days a week. So it's actually quite a bit. So it's quite a bit of stuff. This is just baking powder. Needs 2 tablespoons. And then of course baking soda. And like I said, I do most of my stuff I buy in bulk. So we will probably make apple fritter bread next. I'm not sure if I'll show you all the steps to it. We may get it out and make most of it and then show you the end result. This is just buttermilk, cup of buttermilk. And takes 4 cups of flour. And again, I'm used to using the stand mixer, so I can just usually pour it all in and don't have to worry about it. But in this, I'm gonna have to take it a little slower. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to hand stir it. Well, maybe it's going to work. Banana bread. Now I just have to pan it up. Find the scales, because I always weigh it. Weigh each pan, make sure it's all got the same amount in it. Find my pans. And we'll bring you back when we've got it. Take it out of the oven and let you see what it looks like. Okay, we're ready to add the extra flour and get this actually proofing for the actual proof on it so that we can get bread made. I make this recipe, I make about anywhere from 12 to 15 loaves of bread a week. And yeast rolls about the same. And it's basically the same recipe. So it's kind of the same process for each. So it kind of you can kind of you learn what the dough needs to look like. Whether you can tell whether it needs a little more flour or not by the look of it. And I can tell this is a little sticky and it's going to have about a half a cup more flour. I tell people all the time, you know, I clean my house. 15 minutes later, there's flour everywhere because I've always got flour out. It's always everywhere. That looks pretty good. Now we got to get it off the dough hook. I've also been making a French bread that's really, really good. It's a little bit of a process to make it. You have to, when you make it, you let it rise for an hour, but every 10 minutes you have to punch it down and let it rise again for 10 minutes, and then you have to punch it down. You have to remember to set a timer for 10 minutes. And So there's not a lot you can do in between. But we're going to let this sit here and double in size, and then we'll come back and make our loaves up and have it ready to go in the oven in about 20 minutes after that, and bake it till it's golden brown. Okay, so we've got 4 loaves of banana and banana nut bread, golden brown. And here is our 3 loaves of white bread that we got. Golden brown all the way around. I sell each loaf of bread for $5 a loaf at the farmer's market. So I guess that'll be it for this video, and I will make another video with some of the other breads that I make. The apple fritter bread, pumpkin bread, and probably a zucchini bread later on this week, or next week rather. And I will see you guys later. Have a good afternoon.